What's going on, guys? I am back here with another episode of Sports Talk, and today we're going to be talking about the metabolism and just energy balance in general. Okay, now I covered this on the first topic with the introduction, but I want to delve a little bit deeper on this topic today, just to give you guys an idea about actually, knowing how many calories roughly you would be burning a day, and kind of how we estimate that for ourselves. Right? Now, the first place to touch on this is just to basically figure out, everything that makes up calorie expenditure for us during the day. Okay, so there's a few different things we're going to go through. There's our BMR, there's our TEE, there is our EAT, there is NEAT, and then there's our TDEE. Okay, so to cover these all, basically, number one is our BMR. All right, so our basal metabolic rate. This is basically everything that our body does to keep us alive on a daily basis by just, if you were to lay on the bed or sit on a couch all day and not move at all, just to breathe, have your heart pumping, twitching occasionally, that's going to be your BMR, right? And this is just the amount of calories your body's going to burn doing nothing at all, okay? Now, a simple way to figure this out, for males, it's going to be 24 times their body weight, okay? So if you're a 90 kilo female, 90 kilo male, 24 times your body weight is going to be your BMR. Simple. If you're a 100 kilo male, it'd be 2,400 calories a day. If you're a female, it's 22 times your body weight in kilograms, is what I'm trying to say here. So if you're a 100 kilo female, it'd be 2,200 calories. All right. Now, males and females, males are always going to burn more calories than females, but the most overarching thing for our BMR is going to be our weight. Okay, how heavy we are, because the heavier you are, the higher your BMR is going to be, just because it takes more energy to look after more mass, right? So heavier people, obese people, are going to have higher BMRs than most people. There are going to be outliers, obviously, but that's kind of how it's going to go. So just think, the higher your mass or the higher your weight, the higher your BMR is going to be in general, okay? But that's only one factor. Next, we have the TEE, which is the thermic effect of food, all right? Now, the thermic effect of food is the energy it actually takes to break down food in your body, okay? Because there is a metabolic process. For us, when we eat food, it does take a little bit for our body to actually break down the food, right? Now, with the thermic effect of food, it's quite negligible. We don't really include it as much. It's always in the little graphs you'll see, they have BMR, TE, and things like that. But like the thermic effect of food it's such a minor thing that we don't really take it into consideration, because it's just such a small amount of calories that it would take in order to break down food that we can't really equate for it, because every day you're going to be eating different things. Sometimes it's going to be higher calorie, sometimes it's going to be lower calorie. Processed foods get broken down easier than non-processed foods. There's just so many confounding variables out there when it comes to the thermic effect of food that we can't put a number or a percentage up to how much that actually would cost to cost your energy to actually use. So we don't really use that much in regards to trying to figure out, like, there's not going to be our final factor when we're trying to estimate calories to be like, oh, but we forgot the thermic effect of food. Fuck, lucky, that's like 27 calories per 1,000 calories eaten or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't really matter, okay? But next we come to NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, right? So this is basically everything you do outside of actual exercise. So I have a home treadmill that you guys can't see here, but it's a home treadmill. I work and walk on my desk every day. I would consider that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, because it's just a treadmill. It's just on a belt. I'm not thinking about it. I'm doing my work. I'm doing whatever I need to do. That's just non-exercise. Carrying groceries inside, or going food shopping in general, tapping your foot, walking around the house, doing chores, running around after your kids, just doing everyday activity that you're not considering an exercise, I would class that as NEAT. Even if I went to throw the frisbee with my partner, which we go on the weekends, or go and do stuff like that, if we're going for a walk, I don't class that as exercise. I'm not like, let's go and burn some calories. We're just doing something. So that's non-exercise activity thermogenesis, okay? And then finally, we have the EAT component, exercise activity, okay? So any exercise you do, boxing, swimming, running, weightlifting, cycling, whatever it's going to be, this is your exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, so everyone's going to be different in regards to how many calories they burn during exercise. The more efficient you are, the fewer calories you're going to burn in general. However, the more efficient you are, the more fitter you are, the more you're going to be able to push yourself harder. So you can actually increase that calorie burn quite a lot by doing the same high amount of intensity and increasing your distance over time, or doing smaller bouts of activity and still increasing your overall volume, which again is going to increase to an overall amount of calories burned. Okay. So every sport's going to be different. Every person's going to be different with the amount of calories they burn with the exercise activity component. And if you are someone who's more athletic, you are someone who runs or swims daily, or you're doing hours of activity a day, your exercise activity thermogenesis is going to be the highest component of this thing, right? Of your NEAT, your BMR, your EAT, and your thermic effector food. That's actually going to be the highest for you, which will be your exercise activity thermogenesis. Some people's exercise activity thermogenesis is going to be higher than their BMR. You might have a 2,000 calorie BMR. Me, for example, I have a 2,000 calorie BMR because I'm 90 kilos, but I do over 25,000 steps a day and I weight train. So my maintenance calories is 4,200 calories a day, right? So I'm eating 2,200 calories extra on top of my BMR because of my NEAT and my exercise activity thermogenesis, right? Other people, if you're an athlete, right, but you're not using a huge amount of energy, then your BMR and your NEAT would probably be your highest components. So everyone's going to be a little bit different, but mostly when you're an athlete who's using a lot of exercise, you're exercising for 2+ hours a day, your main component of energy expenditure is going to be through EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, all right? So we add all these things together, and this gives us our overall total calorie burn for the day. So we've got our BMR, we've got our thermic effector food, we've got our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and we've got our exercise activity thermogenesis. These 4 components are going to make up the amount of calories you burn during the day, okay? From there, we can decide what we're going to do. Are we going to create a calorie deficit? Are we to lose some weight? Are we going to eat at maintenance calories, or are we going to eat to gain weight? Everyone's going to be different on this thing, but this is what's going to be your overall component, okay? Now, one thing we need to also talk about, not just your energy balance, which we've just discussed, it's actually energy availability, okay? So energy availability is a little bit different to energy balance. Energy availability is all the calories left over you have after accounting for your exercise calories burned, okay? So let's say, for example, you are a cyclist and you cycle 2 hours every day and you're burning, let's say 1,500 calories cycling for 2 hours a day, okay? Well, let's say you're only eating 2,000 calories a day. You're losing 1,500 calories, you're burning 1,500 calories from just cycling alone. You've left your body 500 calories left for the day in order to take care of its physiology. So to breathe, heart pumping, all these things, all right? You would be in a low energy availability state, which means you're actually compromising your physiology, okay? This is why people have low testosterone. This is why females lose their menstrual cycle. This is why we can have low bone mineral density. Energy availability is actually quite an important thing, especially for athletes, and making sure we're in a neutral energy availability state. So you're an optimal, I guess we would say, which would be 45 calories per kilogram of lean body mass for a female and 40 calories per kilogram for a male. Ideally, if you can get to the 45 calories too, that would be ideal, right? So basically, we need to know our lean body mass, and then we need to know how many calories we're burning in our exercise session, and then using this little formula, which I'm not going to cover now, but it will give you an idea about whether you're in an optimal energy availability state, okay? Because we can think we're in energy balance, right? But we're not in optimal energy availability, which means if you're eating, let's say you're the cyclist, all right? You're eating 2,500 calories a day. You burn 1,500 calories, you got 1,000 calories left, okay? But you're cycling 2 hours a day. You're also walking another 15,000 steps a day. So your maintenance should be like 4,500, but you're eating so low, but your body's maintaining because it's metabolically adapted down, okay? Because again, once we've accounted for our energy burned through exercise, our body needs to use the energy we have left over to try and function the best it can. So what's gonna happen is the body's gonna adapt and become a slower metabolism, right? Which means you need fewer calories to maintain your weight, but you're not in a good energy availability state. But the body's just trying to do whatever it can to maintain its current weight. So what we need to do from here is increase our energy intake to meet our energy availability. This way, we're at optimal energy availability and optimal energy intake for our goals. And this way, you're going to be performing at your best. You're going to have no negative outcomes, no bone mineral density loss, no low testosterone or amenorrhea, no problems sleeping. All these things are going to be fixed when you're in both, okay? So energy balance is one part of the equation, but so is energy availability. And if you guys don't know much about energy availability, I will be talking on this topic actually next, but I wanted to give you guys an idea about how this is all going to come into play because it's very important to make sure you're managing both, all right? Because without this, if this is low, you're going to experience a lot of negative repercussions and you're going to impact your performance, you know? And the biggest thing is, being an athlete, you want to perform at your best, which means we have to fuel our body with the amount of calories it's very much needed. And a lot of people seem to be under-eating, especially if it's a weight class sport or it's a physique class. Things like that cause people to under-eat is not doing any benefit to them and put you in a low energy availability state, okay? So I just want to give you guys a quick update there. So calorie balance, energy availability, ideally we want both equal, so we're eating enough calories to be able to maintain our weight with the highest amount of calories possible. Because another thing is making sure you can eat as much as you can to maintain your weight, and that's going to bring up your energy availability and put you in that 45 calories per kilogram of lean body mass is where we want to be. Cool? Hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll speak to you in the next episode.